All right, let's talk about the SpongeBob episode Gone. You've probably seen it, the one where he wakes up and literally everyone in Bikini Bottom has just vanished. Now, on the surface, it seems like a pretty weird, kind of mean joke the town is playing on him, but what if it's not a joke at all? What if what we're seeing is actually the cover-up for something way, way darker? We're going to break down the theory that this isn't a prank, but one of the biggest, most calculated conspiracies in the show's history. So the whole thing kicks off with this one simple, super unsettling question that just hangs over everything. SpongeBob wakes up, ready for his day, and is hit with just total silence. The central mystery is right there in the first few minutes. How does an entire town just disappear overnight? You know, SpongeBob starts his morning routine, but you can feel it immediately. Something is deeply wrong. His world isn't just quiet, it's completely empty. The silence is deafening. This is a straight-up ghost town. And the clues start piling up, painting this really eerie picture. Gary is gone. I mean, he didn't even show up for food, which is a massive red flag. He checks on Squidward and Patrick, gets nothing. The streets are empty, except for this one single boat just abandoned in the middle of the road, like someone left in a real hurry. The Krusty Krab, Sandy's Dome, all of it, completely empty. Something is seriously, seriously wrong here. So how does our boy SpongeBob react to finding his entire world deserted? Does he panic? Call for help? Nope. In a move that is so bizarrely SpongeBob, he just kind of accepts it and decides to keep the town's memory alive by becoming everyone. He starts role-playing as the entire town all by himself. It's funny, for sure, but it's also the very first sign that his mind is starting to crack under the pressure of being totally alone. And this is where things get dark. And they get dark fast. The role-playing is kind of funny at first, but it doesn't last. The narrator tells us that just 3 days later, he's having full-blown conversations with his boat, which he names Bodie, and a Krabby Patty puppet is warning him about it. Fast forward to what he describes as weeks later, and he's spiraled into severe paranoia, scribbling in his diary, screaming at boats, and then, he grabs an axe. And just as SpongeBob hits his absolute lowest point, swinging that axe at an approaching bus, everyone comes back. Just like that. They're all there, and they've got this surprisingly simple story for where they've been. But the real question is, does it actually add up? So here it is, the official story. Mr. Krabs says it was all just National No SpongeBob Day, a harmless holiday where every single person in town decided to pack up and leave just to get a break from him. And SpongeBob, being SpongeBob, he doesn't even question it. He's just thrilled to have his friends back. But you know what? We should question it. Because when you really start to look closer, that simple, kind of mean joke starts to completely fall apart. Is a harmless holiday really enough to explain the total mental breakdown we just watched? Let's start poking some holes in this story. Yeah, when you really think about it, the cover story is full of holes. First off, who took part in this? Sure, Squidward, Mrs. Puff, I get it. They'd be first in line for a no SpongeBob day. But Sandy? His best friend Patrick? His own pet snail? Gary? That's a huge stretch. Then there's the timeline. SpongeBob clearly experiences what felt like weeks of isolation. The whole town is going to ditch him for that long for a prank? And finally, the timing of their return is just way too perfect. They show up the second he completely loses it. It all feels a little too convenient, doesn't it? So this leaves us with two totally competing stories. You've got the official one, a harmless, if mean, town holiday. And then you have the unsettling theory, a coordinated, practiced evacuation from a very real and very serious danger. This brings us to the absolute core of the theory. This was not a holiday. It was an evacuation. The people of Bikini Bottom didn't leave for fun. They left because they had to. They were running from something. And here's the kicker. They've done this before. And this isn't just some wild guess. It's based on what we've seen throughout the series. The citizens of Bikini Bottom might squabble with each other all day, but when a real threat shows up, they come together and act like a single-minded mob to survive. They are, frankly, scarily good at disappearing. I mean, think about it. We have seen them do this over and over. Remember the Alaskan bullworm? They didn't just evacuate, they literally pushed the entire city to a new spot. When they all freaked out thinking Wormy the butterfly was a monster, the whole town fled in chaos. The mad snail disease in Once Bitten caused the same mass panic. This town knows exactly how to vanish when they feel threatened. Okay, so that leads us to the next big question. If this was a real evacuation, what was the danger? What could be so bad that it forces everyone to flee? And could that be connected to SpongeBob's rapid mental collapse? The theory suggests his hallucinations weren't just from being lonely, but were triggered by some external threat, like a chemical leak or a toxic algae bloom. But this theory has one more layer to peel back. And this is easily the darkest, most disturbing part of this whole thing. It answers the one question that's been sitting in the back of our minds this whole time. Right. If the danger was so real that the entire town, including his best friends and his pet, had to get out of there, why in the world would they leave him behind to face it all alone? The answer is just chilling, and it really comes down to two terrible possibilities. Possibility number one. He's a liability. The show proves over and over again that SpongeBob is just awful in an emergency. He panics, he causes problems, he makes things worse. When you're trying to evacuate an entire town quickly and quietly, SpongeBob is the guy who's going to slow you down and get you caught. So they left him behind. And then there's the second, even more sinister possibility. Maybe they didn't just leave him behind. Maybe they left him behind on purpose, as an unwitting test subject. Think about it. As a sponge, maybe he can absorb toxins or resist whatever the danger was better than anyone else. They basically used him as a canary in a coal mine to see if it was safe to come back. So if you put it all together, the sequence of events looks something like this. Sandy, being the town's scientist, probably identifies the threat. They come up with a hypothesis that SpongeBob's biology might make him resilient to it. Knowing he'd just get in the way or mess things up, they leave without telling him, and they watch from a safe distance. But when SpongeBob's mind completely shatters, it proves the experiment failed. He didn't handle it well. So they return at that exact moment and feed him the easy-to-swallow lie of National No SpongeBob Day. And that's really what makes this theory so haunting. Whether he was left behind because he was a liability or because he was a test subject, the result is the same. It's the story of SpongeBob being completely abandoned by everyone he knows and trusts. It's cold, it's calculated, and it hurts, even if he's too innocent to ever realize it. It really makes you wonder, who are the real monsters in Bikini Bottom?